Over the next several days, we're going to talk about bunch. We're going to talk about bunch, our base plays that we ran in bunch, different formations. We're going to talk about the complement plays we ran when teams were trying to stop the base play. And we're going to talk about the passing game we ran out of bunch. Bunch is a great set. You don't have to do it exactly like we do, but you'll pick something up. Bunch is very underutilized in high school ball and probably something you can pick up to help your team if you really kind of pick and choose some of these things you see. So why would someone run a bunch set? Well, one is just to mix it up. I thought it was good in the red zone. It was good coming out. It was good in different times because it was something different. Usually the defense had to work on it. So they either spent time dealing with how to adjust to the bunch or they didn't and you got them misaligned. So we wanted to do it for that reason. But the other reason was it cuts off the run throughs for the outside backer, the safety, people like that. If you're in your regular defense, your regular formation, where for us, say we had trips and we're trying to run this way to a trip side, there is an alley that somebody can run through and this guy struggled to block them. Especially when you get motion or the action goes that way they go. And that creates some issues that we didn't have a great answer for other than to change the formation. So when we got in bunch, there wasn't as many run throughs. So traditionally, we're going to draw this up versus 50. We might have seen a few different looks, but this is probably the main thing we saw was people try to engage their safeties more. They start like this and try to move the safeties and maybe reduce the front down. But this is what we'll start with, and then we'll show you a few different defensive looks here in a minute. If we're running our base play, was going to be buck sweep. So we're going to run buck sweep and jet sweep. That was going to be the base play. Now, what I love about this formation is we can run them both ways. We can run jet and buck this way. We can run it this way. For the sake of bunch talk, we're going to talk about running things to the bunch. But if we got an overload, if they rolled down, pre-snap, then we would totally just run the exact play back this way because we have both of our wing backs there. We can run buck sweep either way. So for the purpose of this, we're running buck sweep. We're going to go, and I'm not going to try not to take all day on this. I love buck sweep, my favorite play. Be glad to talk about that another time. But basically, we are going to block down with our wing. We're going to get down with the tackle. We're going to kick out here. This guy, if at all possible, take the best release he can to seal off that backer. That's a much better angle than the angle you're going to get spread out. He's going to take the most dangerous man who's probably here. We leave him alone, more than likely. And you got a single block there. You're going to wrap probably to the safety, but if we miss and get trashed, he could look back for somebody that missed their block. Here, you got two choices on the backside, and we did both. Most people do this now. You can lock on, send one step motion here, and you can read the hole here to throw the pop. Or you can read him, arc, and if he steps down, quarterback keeps it and run. Hard to do both, but you can do one or the other. Our guys would go in one step motion and go. They're getting the ball just like a under center team would do on buck sweep, or even if you put the back off to the sidecar, they should be getting it about the same time. They're going to sell the flank, catch the guard. You should have a pretty good seal here. And a seal here, like Coach Lombardi like to say. That's what it should look like. Does it always look like that? Well, absolutely not. But that's what it should look like. You should have good angles. Where's the tough blocks on this play? Well, right here, the center having to make a single block is tough if he gets whipped, especially if he gets whipped that way really bad, they can get into the play. And we got to play for that. Talk about in a minute. The down block by the wing is always tough, so we got to have a play to read him later. We'll talk about that. But assuming there's not major issues, safety rolling down hard, those are all things we're going to address later. Assuming there's no major issues, this is a great play. We run this play with our young guys, our middle schoolers, our JV, our ninth grade. We were going to be able to get angles, get down and go. You say, well, if you go down, they squeeze you, whatever. Well, we like the jet sweep as a complement to that. And what was the jet sweep? The exact same thing, how it looked to the defense. So, draw this quickly here. If we were running our jet sweep, now he's still in motion. Should look the exact same out here. except now we're going to change who blocks who a little bit. We're going to block on, block on, block on, and read the pop. That's how we did it, but you could do the same thing, I guess, with reading him. If you wanted to do that, we pull in the alley and catch guys, try to catch the backers that were probably reading us. And then out here, we make calls. So we try to leave him alone for the most part and make him run the alley to cheat. And we can either double right here, or if this guy was really playing wide, we would make a switch call and block down with him, double, and arc to the corner. That's jet. Now the play, as far as the running back, one step, snap the ball, get the ball from the quarterback, sell the flank. And now the difference on jet is he can bounce, he can bang, and anything in between. You know, he can turn this into whatever it turns into. On buck sweep, we really want to try to sell the flank and cut back if at all possible. On jet sweep, we're going to try to go wide and come back if possible. So those were the base plays. Really like both of them. We were going to be able to run that. And then we're going to try to run them, you know, run that until they stop it. And if they stop it, did they stop it because they whipped us, or did they stop us because they're kind of cheating? And we have to figure out the difference of that. The next thing I want to show you in this first part, and then we'll go on to the next part will be about the complements, is the formations we could use. Now, I like 3 basic bunch formations. So I'm going to use these over and over in this series. Here was the basic bunch. Your question is, where's the Y? Well, that's about 4 yards from the tackle. He's in his normal 1-by-1 alignment, and the Z's line 1-by-1 off of the Y. That's a base look. I also liked the set where we keep that the same, but we go X over. So we still got this look and X over. We could probably put the back there. We could put these backs in the backfield if we wanted to, but for the sake of this, we're not going to. And then I really liked where we left the X over, where he originally was, and brought the left out here off. So it created a quads look with the single receiver. Here you got an X over look. And what these do is give just different looks. There's a regular bunch. There's a bunch with an outside receiver and he's ineligible. There's a bunch where all 4 of them are eligible. So you're given 3 different looks through that bunch. And that's the 3 groups we're going to talk about over and over and over again with our buck and our jet series, and then with our passing game. So for as far as we talked about for buck and jet, we could run buck and jet this way and this way, this way, and this way. They overplayed the X over. We're coming back with jet here, blocking on, pulling in the alleys, reaching, giving the ball. If they overplayed it, that's what we're doing. Now here's a little tricky because we got our running backs on the same side. So we would probably throw out of this or run back into the weak side if we had numbers. But those are our base bunch formations mixed in with our 2 base bunch plays that we could talk for 10 hours about, trying to bunch it into less than 10 minutes. But that was our base. Once you understand that base, you can get into the next phase, which is the plays off of that. So I hope that made sense. Feel free to ask me any questions you have about our base stuff. I hope everybody will keep watching this, and it'll build every day and give you a little more on what you can do for bunch.